principal of the middle school.
How y'all doing? All right, let's go.
Yes, Mr. President. Good evening, Westbury family. Welcome to the Board of Education Action Meeting. Today is November the 18th. Trustee Pedro Quintanilla.
Present.
Trustee Michelle Wilson.
Present.
Trustee Dr. Ples Dickerson.
Present.
Vice President Floyd Ewing.
Present.
Board President Robert Triano Jr.
Present.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Can I ask Vice President Ewing to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 14th, October 21st, and October 25th.
So moved.
Motion has been moved. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
A motion by Dr. Dickerson, seconded by Vice President Ewing. Ayes, Trustee Quintanilla.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Dickerson.
Aye.
Trustee Ewing.
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. I should have noted at the very beginning that Trustee Keynes will not be joining us, and I suspect that Trustee Bowling will be joining us nearly any second. We're going to have a special presentation this evening from Dr. Chase, our superintendent, in regard to goals that she and the Board of Education have been working on for several months now, and we're very happy that that's reaching a culmination point. Well, it'll reach that point in just a few minutes. But before I do that, I just want to say that this is going to, there's some happy occasions here, and I just want to point out that we will be voting tonight on the appointment of William, and I hope I say this correctly, Talasic as the, is Mr. Talasic here? Hi, why don't you stand up and say hi? He will, that's just fine. We'll get your speech later, okay? You can start writing it. Mr. Talasic is going to be appointed the department chair in the middle school for English. Dr. Oriana is going to be appointed you can stand up too, the department chair for world language. And Davis, where is your green dragon costume? I'm accustomed to seeing you there. Okay. When she gets appointed, you're going to rip it off, right? We also have with us tonight the soon-to-be appointed district-wide chairperson for math, Dr. Kamala Watt. And do you pronounce that the same way our vice president pronounces that? Do you pronounce your first name the same way a vice? Oh, well, how do you pronounce it? Kamala, okay. And I've been practicing this, and I got it wrong. And we'll be appointing some probationary teachers this evening. Jennifer Barrio. Is Jennifer here? Hi, Jennifer. Melissa Corona. Hi, Melissa. Jessica Gombar, did I say that correctly? Hi, Jessica. None of you wanted to stand up? Please stand up. No, you're not going to do it. Okay. You don't have tenure yet. Remember that. Melissa Vergara. Melissa stood up. Did you see that? Emily Walcott. Hi. And Janessa Trinidad. Hi. We'll be appointing some part-time teachers. One of them was here tonight, Rachel Seedorf. Hi, Rachel. And leave replacement teachers, Jennifer Georges. And Jennifer, did I say that right, Georges? Okay, great. I'm very, very, very happy to say that we'll be appointing a new supervisor for transportation. Mr. James Popkin. Mr. Popkin has, I've been told by the superintendent, has an interest in challenges, and certainly he's found a challenge with our transportation effort. What's beautiful about Mr. Popkin joining us is that we get 2 for 1, and that his wife is with us here as well, and she also does transportation in another school district. So this is a real, well done, Dr. Chase. And then we'll be appointing in a short while an interim assistant superintendent for finance and operations, who's already with us now as a consultant, Mary O'Neill. Hi, Mary. Okay, before we hear from Dr. Chase about goals, you want to make a couple of comments about the boys' soccer team?
Good evening, community members, soon-to-be Westbury School District family members who are here, and those who are watching us live stream. I just want to share with you that we intended to honor our boys' soccer team, varsity. As you know, they are the Class AA champs for Nassau County. We could not be more proud of our young men. So we were all playing, yes, give it up. So this really speaks to who they are as a team. The idea was to honor them today because they just won, this wonderful title, made history by winning such a title. Instead, 5 of them are playing on the All-Star game today. Half of the team decided to support their team members. We have no soccer players. So it just really speaks to sportsmanship. It speaks to their togetherness, working as a team, and again, they're making us proud once again. We are going to honor them in December at our December, not the planning meeting, what do you guys call it here? The December action meeting. So please come back out. We'd love to have this audience once again to cheer our boys soccer team on and to let them know no matter what happened at the end, they are our forever champs. Thank you all.
Again, before we hear from Dr. Chase, I probably have 2 people here whose hearts skipped a beat because I didn't mention them when I was saying people are going to be honoring and celebrating, so I apologize for that. One of them is Elizabeth Campbell, who's going to be an administrative assistant in the Office of Curriculum and Instruction. Hi. And probably the most concerned was our tenure candidate, Dylan Callender, who was here as well with his family. So I apologize for my oversight. Dr. Chase, it's all yours.
Good evening, everyone. I am very proud to share the hard work of the school board, the superintendent's office, our central office administrators, and our building level administrators. We are happy to present to you our goals for 2021-2022. And while we recognize it is the end of November, you're probably wondering why you're doing this now. It took a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, and a lot of thought in terms of what will we identify as our focus for this school year. So I'm going to go through this as briefly as I can, but I also want to allow you all the opportunity to ask questions should you need clarification or you want to comment. So this started the day I was appointed as superintendent and the day I started in July. But the journey really took legs and arms and feet. We held our school board retreat in August. Our school board retreat was led by Nisbra, who is a national name. She was the former president of the National School Board Association, and she chose to come to our school district to work with our board and my leadership team to develop goals for the 2021-22 school year. We had a great time bonding. We had a great time talking about our district, our mission, our vision, what we want to see for our children, and what we want to see for our community. Her name is Miranda Beard, and we hope to continue to work with Ms. Beard as we continue to fine-tune the work that we need to do for our children. We realize that although we have courage, although we have vision, and although we have a mission, we needed purpose and we needed direction. Thus came our goals. So why do you set goals? Why does a district set goals? You know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to educate children, and children are supposed to learn whatever the teachers teach, right? Goals help us to demonstrate transparency and intentionality regarding our actions. We want to be transparent as possible with you to let you know what our focus will be, so that you will know how money is going to be spent, you will know how we're going to direct our resources, and you're going to know exactly what we're going to focus on. By setting goals, we provide guidance, we provide direction. We also facilitate planning and monetary allocation. We motivate and we inspire staff, faculty, and the community, because you're going to hold us accountable to those goals. You're going to see goals and wonder, did they really accomplish this? It motivates staff, it gives staff direction, it gives staff an idea as to the direction we wish to go. Setting goals also help to evaluate and analyze our performance. We only get better when we have courageous conversations about our outcomes for students. We cannot continue to just allow these scores to be what they are. We can't continue to allow to just settle for mediocrity. We've got to constantly ask ourselves, how can we get better? Are we doing all the right things? And if we're not, how do we direct our efforts? And at the end of the day, we set goals because the school board, superintendent's office, and our administrative team believe that we will become a world-class school district. And the goals are a journey toward it. So, I'm going to talk briefly about goals versus objectives, because you're going to see today goals, you're going to see objectives. So I know many of you know this, but for the purpose of this presentation, so that we have a common language, really clearly, goals are simply the outcomes you intend to achieve. This is what I want to do. Your objectives simply tells how you're going to get there. What are those measurable steps that will help you to get there? So I am going to bake an apple pie for Thanksgiving. That's my goal. It really is my goal. But I need to be able to identify how in the world am I going to get there? What are going to be my ingredients? Am I going to use Granny Smith apples? Am I going to use a different type of apple? Am I going to use, I'm not going to tell you my secret ingredients. I see Plus taking notes, I'm not telling. So, our district, very strategic about our goals. And we said, you know, goals are goals are goals. But when you create SMART goals, your SMART goals are targeted goals. Your SMART goals help you to reach that success that you speak about in terms of your vision and your mission. So, SMART goals. Well, the S in SMART means that it's straightforward, it's precise, and it's easily defined. The M, it's measurable. You imply a clear tool or there's a point of reference to determine if you can meet that said goal. The goal has to be attainable. It's got to be realistic. You know, if I say that I'm going to bake 50 pies for Thanksgiving, that is not my reality, being a superintendent and a full-time, everything else in between. But we want to make sure that they are realistic and it's not pie in the sky and aspirational. It's got to be relevant to what is important to the organization. But what is important to Westbury? And they're time-bound. You can't say that I'm going to make a pie, but when are you going to make the pie? How soon are you going to do it? And so it's important that we put a realistic expectation to our goals. So, we looked at our current strategic plan, and we also looked at what goals were set in the previous years. And the board and my cabinet started our work and journey toward our 4 goals for the 2021-2022 school year. Our first focus, Ms. Lavelle, is on student achievement. By the end of the 21-22 school year, we will identify and implement high-quality curriculum and instruction to promote improve student success as measured by the following metrics. Number 1, we hired an assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction. That was our first priority, Dr. Ronald Valenti. Dr. Ronald Valenti started in the summer and has hit the ground running. We will review, develop policy that support increase in rigor and relationship building with students and families, as well as establish articulation across grade levels. And if you notice, my goal is at the top, our goal is at the top, the objectives are underneath, and what we did was we made sure that we've identified who is going to help us to reach the success of each objective. And if you notice, the T, it's time-bound. We're going to establish benchmark data to develop long and short-term goals to foster improved student outcomes. By November 2022, that work will have been done. Should be 2021. Implement a word study program that focuses on phonemic awareness, decoding phonics for early grades. And we're going to focus on pre-K through first grade in terms of a word study. And we're going to also implement a more intense word study for our struggling scholars in grades 3 through 8. And that work, again, is already underway. I'm going to ask Dr. Valenti if he would like to speak to the work that's going to be done with the Phonemic Awareness program.
So phonemic awareness is already in place with our pre-kindergarten students. I think that's an important note, that we've drawn in our pre-kindergarten children. Even though that's a separate contract with St. Joseph's College, they are our children. And that is critical to understand, and they will ultimately be migrating into kindergarten and beyond. So we do begin with phonemic awareness. To what degree does a child understand simple words, rhyming, combination of letters? That is a fundamental area that we must begin at the earliest age. So we're using the Haggerty system, research-based, and it does allow us to identify where the child is at, what we need to do to remedy any deficiencies the child may have as early as that 4-year-old curriculum, and then move gradually up through kindergarten. Did you want me to migrate through the whole thing or just phonemic awareness? So if you're building a pyramid and you're at the bottom rung, phonemic awareness is the starting point. In fact, I had some middle school teachers say to me, boy, we wish that could be available to some of our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And I said, well, if the need is there, we'll just move it up there. That's not where you normally begin. But as you move up the ladder, beyond phonemic awareness, now you begin to get into a research-based program you're going to be hearing a lot about. It's called Wilson. Wilson Reading Program is a multi-tiered program. What that means is that Wilson begins at a level of foundations. So in kindergarten and 1st grade, and it is fun for the children, but they begin to build on what we talked about earlier, phonemes, beginning to get to basic words, syllabic expressions, etc. And they begin to form words and gradually form sentences. So Wilson builds that up for all of our students except those who are struggling. There are still many struggling students. And so we do have a Wilson intervention at the 3rd tier where we plan to train approximately 10 to 20 Westbury teachers to be interveners at the tier 1 level. So in effect, they will work with those children in smaller groups so that they do not fall further behind. We had a report earlier this week showing our independent grade level reading. At the 7th grade level, we have a number of our students still reading at 4th grade. Think about that. That's 3 years behind grade level. And as you go higher up the ladder to a 12th grade, that is a mounting problem. We must arrest that immediately. And so that's what the phonemic awareness, the Wilson program, the next step, the intervention, type 1, tier 1. And then we also have a program beginning in 3rd grade, which is just words, where there's a high focus on vocabulary, a high focus on children placing words into context and understanding the larger contextual meaning of what they are doing. We're also looking at critical reading, great books, moving up the ladder, and also TWR, which is the writing revolution. The writing revolution, again, a research-based program, some call it the Huckman method, begins in the earliest grades, kindergarten, moves right up to 12th grade. And as a matter of fact, this coming Monday, our administrators will be doing some leadership training in that area. And we had it for the superintendent's conference day for all of our staff. They're very excited about it. So Dr. Chase, that is a short version of the literacy plan. And thank you for calling on me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, and you know, one thing is very important in our school district is being inclusive. And in our school district, as Dr. Valente indicated, all the work that we're doing includes pre-K. They are not an isolated grade. We understand the foundation begins in pre-K. We're also going to be looking at, well, we're going to launch, a standardized writing program for grades 2 through 5. I believe Dr. Valente talked about the TWR, the writing revolution. We've started that work. The idea of the writing revolution is that we're going to have a continuum as to what constitutes good writing. What should it look like, sound like, and feel like? So from children, from all the way from our elementary school students, all the way to the 12th grade, will have the same language when it comes to good writing. And we're going to implement the secondary aspect of the writing revolution in the coming years. So as you can see, our focus has been on literacy instruction, and then we're going to move into numeracy instruction, which is why Dr. Watt's appointment is so very important, because she's going to be the district-wide math chairperson. All administrators will have completed the required observations. We're going to engage building leaders, and we've already have done that work, and we'll continue to do this work. I want to talk about another really important aspect that the board and the leadership team believes is so important and relevant to the school district, and that is the implementation of social emotional support. There's no ifs and buts about it. It is not a fun project. It is not a fad. It is not the latest phase, the latest buzz in education. It is hereby a requirement in education. Many of our students have been out of school for months, well over a year. And our students are beginning to display that detachment they had from school. You see it all across America. In fact, one of the therapists that we work with said the entire world is in recovery, whether we want to believe it or not. The pandemic has left a very nasty taste in our mouths, and it has impacted people. People are coming back to school having faced trauma, having faced disabilities, having faced loss. The pandemic did this, and so we have to address it. If we don't address the heart of our students, we'll never get into the academic aspect. And so you have to have that delicate balance between the two, which is why this last objective is so very important to the work that we need to do to reach academic achievement. The next goal is leadership, culture, and communication. The board, the administrative team, believes by the end of the 2021-2022 school year, we will provide an enhanced organizational leadership, build culturally responsive and sustainable practices, and promote effective communication as measured by the development of a district-wide plan for professional development. What will that look like? Will we have continuity and consistency? Will it be a spray and pray, a drive-by? Absolutely not. We want sustainable practices in our school district. When we go from one school to the other, we should see similar practices. We will not pit one school against the other. What I see at Park, I'm going to see at Drexel. I'm going to see at Powell's Lane. I'm going to see at Dryden. We want to communicate a shared vision that focuses on continuous improvement. That's the work that we're starting right here today. And you will continue to hear about our progress. We want to be visible in the schools and a broader school community. As a new superintendent, that's a priority of mine. I want the community to get to know me, and I want to get to know the community. We want to create a culture that fosters community partnerships and recognition and participation. We want to create a culture of unity, collaboration, equity, and focus on accelerating learning. I had a great conversation with our director for guidance, who is here today, Ms. Deidre Faulkner, about creating a culture of unity, acceptance, and a culture of love in the school district. We need it. Every school district needs it. We want to restructure the enrollment process and align to NYSED standards. It's going to take me a minute to get there, but we've already made progress, and I'm already seeing strides that's being made in that area. We've already are identifying students who do not belong here, and we have been successful at sending very strong letters and asking for requirements. And I'm very proud of the work that's happening at OCR. We want to launch a parent portal at the elementary schools. We want to be able to communicate with you a little bit different and using modern technology to communicate with our families. And so we're going to be doing that work in the coming weeks. We want to enhance and modernize communications and operations pertaining to transportation. Transportation was an absolute debacle. It was. I don't know other word to use it. In August and September. But then it started to settle out. And I want to thank Mr. John Robertson, who was here for the past couple of weeks, who stabilized transportation in our school district. And I'm really happy that we will appoint, give it up for him, that's fine. I'm so happy that we're going to appoint Mr. Poppin, who will pick up the baton and bring more efficiencies in the area of transportation. I need to stand before this community next year and say, wow, look at the improvements we made in transportation. We will never visit what I saw again in this district. We will bring new technology to help parents identify when the bus is going to arrive so you will know where your child is. I learned here comes the bus from this guy. Y'all gonna see that soon. So we want to enhance how we communicate. We want to make sure that our systems are connected, that our systems are speaking to one another, and we can do a better job, and we will do a better job. We're going to update the elementary school report cards. The principals from our elementary schools says, you know what, we have these electronic report cards, but they're outdated. We want to talk about new standardized report cards so parents, you can be a better partner with us in talking about what those standards are for education, and it's evident in the report card. You want to see if your child is reaching that goal for for fifth grade, for fourth grade. Are we meeting those standards? And the report card should be able to tell you so. So we need to enhance how we communicate to you all. District operations and financial management. We believe, we as a team, the board, the leadership team, believe, and we're speaking in one voice. I'm just a spokesperson for the team. By the end of the 2021-2022 school year, we will provide leadership to promote equity and alignment to resources within current budget to maintain high-quality academic and co-curricular programs for all students. All means all, as measured by the following metrics. I've inherited expired contracts. The board and I are committed to settling those expired contracts by June 2020. Y'all can clap, Shahana. I see you and your crew back there. Absolutely. We understand. We understand what that does for culture. We understand what that does for school environment. We understand what that does for morale. We're going to get there. We ask for your patience because we have so many that are opened. We want to stabilize central office leadership structure. As a superintendent, it is important that I have a strong team in place, and the board recognizes that importance. So they said, Dr. Chase, please fill these positions so that we can achieve our goals. I am so happy to say that we will be hiring an assistant superintendent for business. We will be, we've already just hired an assistant business manager for operations. That's Mr. Rob Stein. I know, right? Yeah. We will hire an assistant business manager for security and transportation. That is underway. We have our outgoing security supervisor, Mr. Jeff Smith, who has done a great job in our school district, but we have to replace him. Supervisor for transportation, that's Mr. Poppin. We'll be hiring him tonight. Director for E&L, Brendan Gallivan, has been hired. He was hired last month. He'll be joining us December 1st, and his position will entail E&L bilingual education, grants, and adult learning. And because we are committed to DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, we will be hiring a director for diversity, equity, and inclusion and special programs. That person's job will be the liaison between the district and the community. We've got to reach out to the community if we're going to move this district forward. So, by February 2022, we believe these positions will be filled and we will be well on our way. We're going to assure that the stimulus funds are used as intended and allocations are equitable among schools. It doesn't mean everybody gets the same thing. Equity means everybody gets what they need. The big difference between equity and equality. And we're going to make sure that that happens. We're going to ensure the completion of activities that are associated with the annual budget and ensure grant applications are submitted in a timely manner. It is embarrassing when you don't submit documentation that's attached to the allocation of funds in a timely manner. We don't want to be that district. We want to be the district where we submit our documentation on time. And I have to say, since Mary O'Neill has taken over as our consultant, she has checked every box of our outstanding submissions. So I thank you, Mary. My school board needs a data dashboard to support governance. They need to be able to look at data. They need to have something at a glance. Dr. Nina Cola will be presenting to our board next month, and we hope to have our data dashboard in place, operational by February 2022. We need to ensure financial compliance with audit reports. Recommendations are met in a timely manner. Mary O'Neill, although she has been doing consultant work with us, she has been on top of that, and again, that is ongoing in terms of making sure that these audit reports and the recommendations are met. We want to stay in good standing. We want to oversee the distribution of resources in support of district priorities, which is what we're talking about today. Now, this is important because this is our way of communicating to you. We want to attach goals that we're talking about today to board agenda items. We believe that that is a transparency. It's intentional so that you will see how we are moving toward meeting said goals. We're going to enhance human resources hiring practices and procedures. While I believe we have a good procedure in place, we can have a better procedure in place with a lot more transparency, and we'll be doing that work. Conduct a comprehensive review and audit of existing technology equipment and instructional technology. Dr. Nicola has identified a series of instructional technology programs. We have quite a bit of equipment. We need to do an audit of what we have, what's working and what's not working. What's not working, we don't need anymore. What's working, we need to keep and we need to further enhance. We're going to conduct a comprehensive review and audit of existing facility procedures. We've been hearing that we might need some help in that area, and it's okay to say that we need help in that area, but we want to identify what's wrong, and then we want to be able to rectify it and provide people the support that they need in the area of facilities. And I know we can do that. The last, engage families and community as partners. We believe, the board and leadership believe, by the end of the 2021-2022 school year, we will provide a safe, respectful, and welcoming learning environment that fosters a climate of support and respect and instills a sense of community among its students, families, and staff as measured by the following. I want to be clear, our buildings are safe. That's not what I mean. Safe in that I feel safe to express myself. I feel safe to be who I am in this building. I feel safe in that my diversity, my ethnicity, that my background is celebrated and appreciated and honored and respected. That's what I mean by safe. So, I'm going to be working very, very closely with Miss Deirdre Faulkner. We've got some work to do. Ms. Faulkner and I are committed to this work. We speak the same language. We've been singing the same song on the same note. And I cannot wait to issue our first family engagement survey for this school year, get some really good data, and take it from there and begin to improve the relationships between the school and the community. We're going to work closely with community-based organizations and support families. I have met so many community-based organizations in my few months here. I remember a lot of the faces. Some of the names I'm still working on, so if I forget your name and I just give you a big hello, just know that I remember your face and I'm still working on names. But I've met so many different community leaders and community organizations with meetings, and we're going to continue that effort because there's a lot of great things and great partnerships in the school district, and I want to be able to maintain those great partnerships and even strengthen them. Meet and strengthen with relationships. We talked about that already. Restructure the website. I hear y'all laughing. Restructure the website. And there's some work that we're going to do. In fact, that work is already underway. Am I correct, Dr. D? That work is already underway, and we cannot wait to launch it. So we do know that it's important that our website reflect who we are and who we aspire to be here at Westbury, and we hope to see some positive changes. We're going to continue to promote positive aspects of our school district through multiple mediums, so it just will not be the website. It will be through social media. As I said, already we're seeing an uptick in social media subscriptions. The last 2 weeks, I received a report from Facebook that we reached 10,500 subscribers. Now, not that it means that they're hitting yes, or they're liking, or don't like, or hitting care. What it means is that they're looking at our work. And that increase came from the fact that we've been celebrating kids on our social media. And we're going to continue to celebrate our kids, celebrate our staff, celebrate all the good things about Westbury School District. We're going to use communication software, like we said, as a means to outreach. I think we can do a better job with our constant contact. We can do a better job as terms of you all getting phone blasts from me and how they're delivered. And there's some work that we're going to have to do in that area. We're going to provide workshops and seminars to our families and community to address social emotional health as well as physical health. Dr. Bloom soon will be talking about a wonderful opportunity for our parents that will be afforded to our school district and our school district only. We had a workshop that was conducted by Dr. Teresa Taylor-Williams, who is our consultant for SEL. We'd like to get some more parents involved in learning more about how we can help together and work together to improve social emotional health of our children. We're going to develop the monthly focus and theme for social emotional well-being. We're very much so committed to this work. We're going to create a homeschool connection. If you go to our website, there's an SEL tips that parents can use at home. Many of your children are coming home with these bracelets. Some of you have the bracelets. Miss Crawford, stand up and show off your bracelets, please. She didn't know I was going to do this. Right? These bracelets, there you go. Miss Davis, stand up, show off your bracelet, please. Shahana, show off your bracelets. Everybody who is a member of the Westbury School. Miss Lavelle, are you wearing your bracelet? Oh, you should have messed up my presentation. Miss Lavelle, we are an inclusive school district. And our bracelets are a monthly reminder of our SEL theme. This month, our theme is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the greatest human emotions a person can feel. I'll talk about that in my superintendent's report. But we started the school year off with this yellow bracelet, Believe. Then we went into awareness, the purple bracelet, and this month, orange for gratitude. When you're feeling down, you might be feeling uncomfortable, you might need a reminder, just look down in your bracelet. The other day, I needed to be reminded of gratitude. I'm human. And I needed to be reminded, and I was so grateful that I had this bracelet because I almost said something that I should not have said. And I looked at my arm, and I remembered how blessed I am. That is the purpose of the bracelets. We have posters all around our school, all around our school district. I am so happy Vicki Sylvain, who's not here, has volunteered to work with local elected officials as well as some of our store owners to put posters each month in our stores and around our community to remind us of the SEL theme per month. It is truly a community initiative. We will become a world-class school district if we just believe, if we work hard, if we work together, if we work collaboratively, if we realize that our students will rise to any expectation that we set for them. We're absolutely capable. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention, and don't forget, we are in Westbury. Thank you. Are there any questions, comments, thoughts? Really? Okay, well, I thank you all for your attention. We're going to put this presentation in a user-friendly manner on our website. And we're also going to have it under the superintendent's page, under the board page, and it'll be visible for you in the website. And it's going to be visible on our website in Spanish as well as Haitian Creole, so that all of our families can access this information. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Chase. I have a comment. Dr. Bloom is checking to see if anybody, any listeners on our live stream have any comments, but I don't think he sees any yet. But I just want to thank you for just an excellent presentation. Every day you affirm the confidence this board had from the first time we interviewed you, and through the time that we actually made the decision to hire you and made that announcement to our community, up to tonight, you continue to affirm the confidence that we have in you. And I find this is going to be a very exciting time to be in Westbury. You are joining what I like that. I like that. Were you showing off your gratitude? You don't have one. You don't have one. Come on. But it's a sign of. Okay. Thank you. You know, I have a hearing problem myself, so I need that kind of symbolization. But it really is an exciting time to be in Westbury. I think we've got some great leadership. We've got a board that's very professional and committed to this community and to our kids. We've hired a great superintendent, and she is building a really fantastic team around her. And hey, Josh, you're cutting me off, Josh. I just want to point that out, all right? So I'm very happy that we're having people join us tonight, but we're also seeing that I believe we're getting a higher quality pool of applicants looking for our jobs, and that's an exciting period of time for us. And you know, I really sit here and have no doubt that we are going to achieve the world-class status that we want to have. Dr. Chase sets very high standards. She sets an example. She provides a game plan and a path, but not autocratically. She does that by working with people. So congratulations to all of you who are the probationary teachers. All of you, Ms. Campbell, congratulations to you. I think you made a really wise choice and decided to come to Westbury. I hope you'll spread the word that Westbury is on the move, and encourage your friends when you see that there are openings. Encourage your friends to come see what's going on in Westbury and join us, because it's an exciting period of time. And I can just kind of sit back now. I used to be at Worker Prudential, and my chairman would set out a strategy and then just put it in place and be confident it was going to work. And he didn't really worry about it. And that's how I feel now, that we've got people who are really very capable, who are going to just carry the ball forward, and we're going to bask in their glory as they achieve success. So it's a very exciting time. Thank you, Dr. Chase. When you finish with Post Avenue giving out those little things, let us know, all right? Well, Dr. Chase, you also have a report in addition to that excellent presentation? I thought you said you did. Okay.
Good evening once again. If you can just bear with me as I give the superintendent's report. As I indicated during my presentation, this is the month of gratitude. I don't necessarily need to repeat the purpose of gratitude and the reason why we've chosen gratitude for the month of November. But I do want you to remember that gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. And I recommend that we start each and every day with a positive thought and a grateful heart. It will make a difference in your day if you begin it that way. Again, I want to congratulate the soccer team for doing an outstanding job, for being a great representative of our school district. I watched them in action, and to see these young men with that sense of pride, sportsmanship, grit, tenacity, teamwork, they were absolutely amazing. I see Mateo in the back, Flores. I know most of those children are near and dear to you. They were part of your farm division, so you are to be proud of those young men, just as proud as we are. So there are a couple of things, community, that I want you to know that's coming down the pike, and I don't want you to be surprised. When we issued this calendar in August, we realized that now there may be some changes in the calendar because COVID kind of changed a few things around. So please anticipate in December a revised December calendar. We're working very closely with our building leadership to identify new dates for our holiday extravaganza that you're going to see. We're going to have a soft opening of our schools at each of our buildings. Some may be streamed live, some may be open to our families, but we recognize that we will need to revise the February calendar, so I ask that you please look for that. It will be on our website, it will be sent to you all via email, and I will try to use every communication channel to let you know what the revised calendar will look like. We, believe it or not, today I received an alert on my phone from the National Weather Association. Snow is a-coming in the Northeast. So, today at my superintendent quadrant meeting, we started talking about snow days, and I couldn't believe that it's actually upon us. Ladies and gentlemen, with the principals, we will be issuing our protocols and procedure for snow days versus remote days. I'm going to forewarn our parents that we will use remote days on days that we believe the weather is inclement. Could be a wintry mix, it could be tricky. We'll be working very closely with Mr. Poppin as well as Rob Stein and our business official to make a determination whether we should open school. And days that we feel that we're not going to open the physical building, we will go back to remote learning for that day. This is consistent within our quadrant. However, I will say if we have a blizzard, hazardous snow, we will use the snow days that are allotted. So I will be providing a chart information for you, and you'll receive that sooner than later because I have no idea when we're going to see snow, and I want you to be forewarned. I also want our community to know that if in fact we need to make such a decision about remote learning or closing school, typically what I do is I alert you the night before of my thinking. I will call you in the evening and say to you that there is impending weather. Chances are I may close school, but I'll make a final decision in the morning. That way you can prepare childcare appropriately, and in that way our educators will have enough time to gather materials from their, well, I'll tell you a little bit early in the day, so not at night, but they'll have enough time to gather materials from their classroom in case we have to return for remote learning for one day. But I will script this out for you in a more comprehensive manner, and you will know exactly what the expectations are. Again, we are working very hard in terms of stabilizing our leadership team. You'll see some very key appointments this evening, and you will continue to see them until our team is complete. I am so happy that we're moving in this direction. We are attracting some fantastic candidates, and I have extreme high expectations of these individuals, those who we are hiring and those who we have already hired. A couple of, I believe maybe a month ago, I recall sharing with you that it was important to the district that we have our children meet with our food service provider, Aramark. And I shared with you that we will be creating food service leadership teams at every single school. Well, let me just report to you where we are. We have those teams. They've been identified by our principals, and I thank our principals for that work. To date, The Food Service Committee has met with the high school team. Powell's and Drexel will meet with our food service on Friday. The middle school will meet on Monday with our food service provider. And Park and Dryden, I think they just have to solidify the day. Part of this work will include students giving constructive feedback to our food service provider, and our food service provider has promised to use that feedback to develop menus and to make enhancements. I will tell you that I was at the middle school soft opening of their cafeteria the day that they opened, and the children were feasting on sweet potato French fries and chicken nuggets and pizza. And I walked over to the students to ask what the chicken nuggets taste like. About 3 of them told me it tastes like McDonald's. So I'm assuming from a child's perspective, that's pretty good, right? Okay. I had to let McDonald's go a long time ago. I want to also share with our community that I am so excited that we have been accepted. We, the Westbury Union Free School District, has been accepted by the Scripps National Spelling Bee to participate in its upcoming competition in 2022. We will send a child to Washington, D.C. to compete against 300 other children from around the world for the spelling competition. Westbury, we got this. And I'm really excited that we will be in the competition. More information to come, but we have received the confirmation that we are officially a Scripps National Spelling Bee School District. We will have local bees, local competitions here in our school district, and the champion of our local competition will be the Westbury representative in Washington, D.C. in May. Families, my last item, again, we are in a season of gratitude and Thanksgiving. The Westbury School District family wishes your family the very best, safe, healthy holiday, and remember, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Thank you all so much for indulging. Have a good night.
Thank you, Dr. Chase. This is the point where we open up our mic to people that want to make a comment about, have a question about tonight's agenda, voting agenda, or just have a comment about the school district generally. Any questions about tonight's agenda, we'll take those first. If anybody.
I'm sorry, Mr. Triano, part of my presentation includes a COVID update from Dr. Bloom and an update from curriculum and instruction, and it will be brief. So I'm going to call on Dr. Bloom to provide a COVID update to the community.
Thank you, Dr. Chase. Good evening. I'm seeing if everyone's still awake. Good evening. All right, that's some good enthusiasm. So welcome and congratulations to all our new appointees tonight. Well done. Some COVID updates. So as a district, we continue to implement the guidance from the CDC, the DOH, the New York State Department of Education. And when any regulations or changes come in, we quickly pivot and we adapt and we implement those changes. 2 very important updates that we wanted to share. Number 1 is the use of the website for communication. So in the past last year, every time there was a case, family, staff would receive an email, a ConnectEd message, a text, and would come in. This year, we pivoted and we made a change to use the district's website for notification. So anytime there's a positive case, it gets updated on the website. Also on the website is a chart of our current cases since the first day of school. So we are using this to be transparent to show how many cases we've had this year. So if you want to reference this on the website, if you go to the main page, the link is right on the main page for important information, COVID-19 updates. Check it regularly because it is regularly updated with information. We also have a section of the website where we have important information for our families, for our students, for our staff regarding COVID, frequently asked questions. What should a parent do if their child is not feeling well at home? What happens when a child is showing symptoms and needs to be sent home from school? What happens if I test positive? Who do I contact? What happens if I'm a close contact? So we encourage everyone to please use the website. My information is on the website if you need to reach me, whether there's a question or if you need to report a case or a close contact. There's been a lot in the news lately about children ages 5 through 11 now being eligible to receive the Pfizer vaccination. As a district, it is important to us to educate the families about the vaccination. So during the month of December, we are teaming with pediatricians who we know, who we trust, to present webinars to the families about the Pfizer vaccination for children ages 5 through 11. Our goal is to present information and to educate. We are also partnering with Mount Sinai Hospital to bring the Vaxmobile to the Westbury School District. Starting in early January, we are looking to have the Vaxmobile come. Very different than getting a vaccination at CVS or Rite Aid. Mount Sinai sends nurses to administer the vaccination and has a doctor on site. There's going to be a lot more information, but we're looking at the Vaxmobile coming each month to administer vaccinations for families who are interested in having their children ages 5 through 11 to be vaccinated. So the question may come up, well, my child's 16. Can they be vaccinated that day? We are focusing on ages 5 through 11 because the dosage is different for 5 through 11 than 12 years old or older. And the 12-year-olds and older have an opportunity for several months. So we're going to bring in the Vaxmobile. The Vaxmobile will come in 2 days early in the month. They could vaccinate probably anywhere from 70 to 80 students over a 2-day period. And then they come back 3 weeks later and administer the final dose in the same time period. Then they would come back the next month, and the next month, and the next month. Mount Sinai uses an electronic system that we will be able to push out through our technology system for families to receive. It is electronic. Families will be able to select a time and sign up with Mount Sinai. And the goal during the month of December and January and beyond is to educate and then to offer the opportunity for families who make the decision to have their child, ages 5 through 11, to be vaccinated, to give the opportunity to have it done in the school district after hours. So a lot more information is going to come, but we are looking forward to presenting this information, having our pediatricians share the research that is out there, families, to allow you to make the best possible decision what to do for your child. And if you make the decision to vaccinate, then we will have Mount Sinai on site to offer the vaccination. So we are very excited about presenting this information and this opportunity, and more will come after Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, this is in alignment to one of the goals, to educate our families, reach out, provide information through webinars, through family meetings, and it's to educate our families so that you can make an informed decision. I'd like to call on Dr. Ronald Valente to provide a brief curriculum and instruction update. Dr. Valente?
Thank you, Dr. Chase. In addition to the literacy plan that we addressed earlier, and Dr. Chase alluded to embarking on a mathematics plan once the board approves Dr. Kamala Watt tonight, who will be our district chairperson, I think we should note that this is the second district-wide chair appointed this academic year, and it's only November. So obviously the board is moving with lightning speed to ensure that both literacy and numeracy rank #1 in our efforts over the next 3 years to strengthen student outcomes. We are the recipient of 2 grants that I think worth mentioning this evening. One is a 5-year grant called the Smart Start Grant, and it's a 3-district involvement. Freeport and Uniondale are partnering with Westbury. It is a grant that provides $250,000 per year, so over a 5-year period, it becomes a substantial amount of money to develop computer science curriculum piloted within our districts, initially grades K to 12, and eventually, after field testing, disseminated throughout the state of New York. So it's a very exciting prospect. We had some initial meetings with Dr. DiNicola, our CIO and Director of Technology. I've had opportunity to talk with teachers and teachers' representatives about it, as well as our principals, and we'll be having a number of meetings, and we'll keep you updated on the advancement of the Smart Start program. It's beginning in the first year in kindergarten, first and second grade. And in the second year, we'll advance to third and fourth, and then right up through 12th grade. What's exciting about it as well, pardon me, is the partnership with the New York Institute of Technology. They will be providing the training, both virtually and on-site. And so we'll be working collaboratively with NYIT as well in the development of this curriculum. And it will involve a major investment in research by our own teachers, working with other districts and ultimately with the state. Another grant that I want to bring to your attention is from the United States Office of Education. Westbury is unique in that we are selected oftentimes to participate in some very exciting work, both statewide with the SMART grant and nationally. This grant happens to be dedicated solely to kindergarten students. So obviously, Ms. Gloria Dinghall is excited that it's a Dryden grant, and we'll be working with all of her kindergarten teachers. To what purpose? Learning math through music. Now, isn't that exciting? Music, as you know, is foundational to fractions, decimals, numerics, and we get into eighths and quarters and sixths and all different levels of beats. And we're going to do that without a music teacher. How's about that? Our kindergarten teachers will be working collaboratively with us. Of course, our district chair, Bragg Johnson, will also be part of the team, assisting us with this project. It's a 9-week project of students learning math literally through music, and then assessing how well it proceeded. And the first meeting for that is tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. Mrs. Dinghall is bringing her team, lead teacher, and some other classroom teachers. We'll have some folks out of Washington, D.C. on a virtual meet, and some of our team, Dr. DiNicola and I. So we'll be reporting back to you regularly on that. The last point I wanted to make was something I should have mentioned in the literacy plan. I went through the hierarchy, I went through the different levels of professional development. One level of professional development I did not mention is that Westbury will become a demonstration site in each of our schools. Now, what does that mean? Take the middle school. Ms. Crawford is here as the principal. That means that Wilson will send coaches into our middle school, and they will actually work with teachers as we work with students. And that will be true for each of our 4 elementary schools. You can't get better professional development than that, than when you have the experts actually come down, come into the classroom, and say to teachers, here's how I would do it, and then work collaboratively with those teachers in terms of designing lesson plans, implementing the curriculum, and assessing to what degree have students mastered the material. So I think that's a critical element, and we're investing resources from our title grants, I think in a very appropriate way, to bring Wilson to all of our children, as well as the Writing Revolution, which is also invested in coaches for our students. So I would conclude on that point, Dr. Chase, in terms of an update.
Thank you. Thank you very much, both Doctors Valenti and Bloom. Mr. President?
Thank you all. I think that's a great initiative with the educating parents about the vaccine for their children. There's so much misinformation that's out there. It's great to have a reliable source like the Westbury School District pass that information on to them. And with the added feature of actually having the Vaxmobile come periodically, just really, really, really wonderful. So thank you all for putting that together. I think it's great for the school district, just a real great for the community, and they can look at Westbury schools as being an asset for them. So thank you for that. Are there any questions now from people in the audience about tonight's voting agenda? Is the mic working? Are there any questions tonight from people about tonight in person about tonight's voting agenda? Okay. You don't have to get up so quickly, Ms. Lavelle. No, come on. I was just kidding. You're about to get up, right? Tonight's voting agenda. Yes. Okay. Can anybody see, are there any questions for people who are watching the live stream? While they check that, for those of you who are first-time visitors to Westbury, there's been a lot of information passed on tonight, and particularly with the presentation about our goals, just so you know that we live stream all of our meetings. We've been live streaming meetings even before the pandemic started. And we also did, and other governments do that as well, but we've gone an extra step by actually archiving all of our meetings. So you can go to the website and rewatch all of this as many times as you want, from anywhere you want. Do we have any questions about tonight's voting agenda from people in the chat room? It looks like we don't, but we do have somebody in our audience.
We do have a question on the chat when you're finished.
Okay, we'll come back to that
Thank you.
once we hear from Ms. Hamilton.
Okay, good afternoon. Isabella Hamilton, Lomax, 565 Jefferson Street, Westbury. I have a question on the, I guess, agenda item O, on the approval of, that would be 7-0?
Approval of building use application by Long Island Wave?
Yeah, just the organization, are these students that participate in basketball within the community that are using the facility? And how are parents in the various schools notified that this program is available?
Yes, it is for students, community members, and I believe, and don't quote me, I believe there was a flyer that was sent within the community about this particular program.
You know what ages? Because my son's in the district and it's
No?
the first I've heard of it.
So do me a favor, if you just, if you give me your information, I'll pass it along to the person who, I'm sorry?
Long Island Wave basketball.
The girls? I thought it was boys and girls, no? Let me get you more information. I don't
I
want to give
looked on the
misinformation.
website. It's girls and boys.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, girls and
Yeah.
boys.
Mhm.
So if I can take your information,
Sure.
we'll make sure you'll hear from Randy Thomas, my secretary, who will put you in contact with the person who leads the program, and so that you can inquire more about it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Lomax, and just in case you're interested, the Nassau County just started a basketball clinic.
I know.
Beg your pardon?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
Nassau County just started, I think it started tonight, a basketball clinic, and I'm not sure if it's for boys or girls or both, at the Yes We Can Community Center. And you can call Yes We Can at 869. I shouldn't have even tried that. No,
Robert,
Yes.
there's actually 3 programs starting at the Yes We Can Center. There's a girls' fitness, there's the basketball clinic, and there's also a STEAM program. All of those events started today at the Yes We Can Center.
Robin, your mic is going out, in and out, so there's a girls' fitness program at Yes We Can?
Yes, the
as well?
girls' fitness program, the basketball program, and a STEAM program. All those programs are happening at the Yes We Can Center. All of that information can be obtained from their social media page on Facebook. They have everything listed there.
Thank you. The district clerk says that there's at least one question in the chat room.
Yes, there was one coming from Chester McGibbon. What is the approximate cost package for the new hires?
Can you repeat that, district clerk?
The question is coming from Chester McGibbon. It says, what is the approximate cost package for the new hires? The approximate cost.
We can just ask Chester to indicate if he's wanting to know what I guess what he's referring to is the salary, perhaps for each one of our new hires, or he may be looking at the total salary cost of all of our new hires combined. Or I'm not sure, Chester, if you're asking what's added as a result of the benefit package. So, Chester, if you want to type in more specifics about your question while we perhaps take other questions, you're welcome to do that. Are there any other questions in the chat room?
Yes, there was one from Ms. Lomax. So perfect. Okay.
If there are no other questions, we'll give people an opportunity to just make comments or ask questions about anything that's not on tonight's agenda.
Okay, I have two questions. The one question that I had, Isabella Hamilton, Lomax 565 Jefferson. The question that I had on the agenda is, thank you for sending the scores home for the students for last year's math and English New York State testing. I do have a question about if there will be a presentation made to the district about each of the different schools on their performance, and then more importantly, how that performance ties into the goals that were presented tonight.
So yes, we will continue to update the community on our progress and our progress at each school. I don't have the actual date as to when we're going to do that, but it will be about mid-year as to where we are. And then, of course, we'll do an end-of-year progress report for our school district, and that will be done publicly. What was your other question?
The other question I have is in October, I believe Laura Curran's office announced that there were several school districts selected to be participants in the My Brother's Keeper. Westbury wasn't one of them, but I know that previous years back, we did have students that participated in the program, and I wanted information as to, did we attempt to be participants in that program? Is that something that we would pursue as a district? So I wanted more information about that.
Sure. So when I arrived to the district in July, I learned that unfortunately the grant was not renewed for our school district. But I will tell you, although the grant was not renewed, the Office of Curriculum and Instruction, as well as our principals, have been absolutely committed to the work and the vision of My Brother's Keeper. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a very similar program with a similar model to My Brother's Keeper. In fact, Dr. Valente's office is working with the principals to devise that model as you and I are speaking now. And so we probably won't call it My Brother's Keeper, but it will have the same tenor as My Brother's Keeper, and we will make sure that we are empowering our young men. But for our girls, and I know you did not ask, but I want to put it out there, we are working with Girls Inc. Girls Inc. is not only working with our middle school and high school young ladies, but they have this year piloted an elementary program so that we are empowering our girls. And we continue to seek the My Brother's Keeper grant because there are different tenets to the grant. We are in communication with the folk at NYSED to see if, in fact, we qualify for other types of My Brother's Keeper grants. But we are still going to do the work, even though we don't have the grant.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Chase, could I add
You please
an
do.
addendum
Please do.
to the question that was asked? Your first question as to state testing. The State Education Department for last year has indicated that it doesn't have sufficient confidence in the tests that were administered in our schools statewide, 700 districts, not just Westbury, because it was done to some degree through homes on computers, and we don't know to what degree the validity and reliability of the test was reduced by virtue of parents helping students. So while the state has some data, we tend to think, and the state agrees and indicates to all districts, that it could be tainted data and not terribly reliable. So when you look at that data, look at it with a grain of salt. The most reliable state data we have is from 2018-19, the last time it was administered in classrooms. We have administered STAR literacy and math in classrooms on a computer-based level as early as September to serve as benchmarks. That information is out with our faculty and administration. We will do that again, literacy and math, mid-year, and again in June. And we anticipate there will be state testing this year, and that will be physically on site. And as to your second question, is Dr. Chase.
Dr. Valenti, before you go to the second question, it'd be helpful if you move the mic closer to your mouth, because people that are watching live stream may not be able to hear you.
All right, is that better?
Much better.
Okay, yeah. On the second question, Dr. Chase indicated that the MBK funding ended as of last school year, and Ms. Croft is sitting here, and our high school principal have both made a very powerful case, together with teachers from both schools, that there are a lot of excited students. So what we did was we migrated to using general funds for an extracurricular position, and as Dr. Chase noted, we are not allowed to use the MBK brand, but it would be a Westchester mentorship program or some other name that the principals and teachers agree to use, so that those excited students, beginning with January and the spring semester, can continue the good work they had begun. And a lot of that work, as you know, is very positive in terms of students being role models and working directly with the community as well as other students within the school. So I just wanted to assure you we're continuing that effort.
Greetings, everyone. Joshua Taylor, 930 Brush Hollow Road in Westbury. Just to piggyback on the My Brother's Keeper, I was the prodigal beginning of My Brother's Keeper within the school district, which started as a partnership with the town of North Hempstead, where we were bused on our last period of the school day to the Yes We Can Center, where they built a committee of leadership and people who's worked for the supervisor's office and people who worked in budget office and in the film office, and really helped us to develop our skills to be responsible adults when we came back to school, what we did in the community, and is the reason why, as a student, I began to come to these meetings. This is not only a question, this is a comment. I hope that I'm free to do so. And I just want to express my gratitude to the school district today. Being 1 month back, returned to Westbury, 365 days I've gone all across the United States to serve our armed forces during COVID. And it was because of the program that was piggybacked by Mr. Dickerson and Ms. Faulkner, who's over here behind me, who I have a really close relationship with, that I was allowed to walk across that stage with lots of money and scholarship to go to college, but also with something that I found the other day, a copy of my culinary certification that I received from this school district. I've successfully served 4.8 million meals to our Army members, our service members, our immigrants on the border in El Paso, Texas, and most recently, my last contract, 30,000 Afghani refugees. And without that skill set, without the programs that we provide here, I wouldn't have been able to do it at 20 years old. I can stop and say, I fulfilled a chef career and I can just continue to go to college and get my degree for political science. So I want to thank you for the programs that you instituted to look at the small things that we do for our students and know that it means a lot. Because me, coming from this community, knowing what school we have, I know these people who sit here, so I know the kind of work we do. The way you dissected your plan, I really understood it, and I thank you because it's one thing that we have a curriculum person now. So our students are going to be learning more than ever with the programs that we have to bring them the best. I'm all about food, so I'm going to ask you a question about our food service program because it's one that I've had close relations with, and I think is very important. I've sat here where we heard complaints about the school district, and not the school district, because this is great. Let me rephrase, or I'll be on the newspaper tomorrow. But I believe in bringing the best food to our students. One, I did it working in El Paso, Texas. They buy the same food from Cisco, and then it's my task to look at the products available and try to bring these kids who are locked in cages, which is true, that we see on the news, to bring them great food for an hour of their day. So I hope that the school district is dedicated to bringing someone that doesn't hold many hats. Because just like curriculum and instruction and just like human resources and personnel, I think food is important for our students. I hope we have a nutritionist to make sure that what we say that we're providing is actually true. And I like to hear that we have these focus groups and these boards that is designed to help make menus and things that are great for our students, but I hope we keep them implemented. It's great to start things in Westbury, but the fulfillment and the carry out is where we fail through. So I thank you for coming in and putting out your plan with confidence, and I hope and I believe with your team and all these beautiful people here today. I don't care what it costs. It can cost $1 trillion. I feel like education, we need our own stimulus package. We need to help to provide the best services. Me, I'm a go-getter, I'm annoying, so everything that I sought after in this school district, it was given to me, and if it was a no, it was a yes later. And I want all of the students to feel that same drive and the push through the programs that you provide and to continue to do so. If you do think we have enough, I think there's more that we can do. I thank God for our Yes We Can Center, that our students can go there each and every day, and if we can partner with them to bring an extended day program to the place that they love, would be great. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Josh. Has Chester added any more specifics about his question?
Yes, he did.
Mr. McGibbon? Sorry.
Mr. Chester McGibbon, his question was total cost combined.
So, Chester, I appreciate the question. I don't know that we're going to be able to provide that answer to you tonight. There's quite a few new hires tonight, including probationary and administrative assistants. And there are also some people going to be paid a stipend. You might want to know that as well for becoming department chairs or district-wide chairs. But we'll, I'm sure we can get that information for you tomorrow. I don't think it'll take much to do that. I beg your pardon? No, the salaries, the individual salaries are listed on the agenda, but it looks like Mr. McGibbon is asking us to total it up, and I don't know if we'll be able to do that during the course of this meeting.
This is Ms. O'Neill's first task, so is that something that we can do at maybe tomorrow or before?
Yeah. And so, Mr. McGibbon, Dr. Chase or Ms. O'Neill will be calling you tomorrow with that information, and then at next board meeting for the rest of the public that has an interest in that as well, we'll provide that again during the superintendent's report. Ms. Lavelle, you have a question or a comment?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elaine Lavelle, and I reside at 18 Oakdale Drive, Westbury Hills, New York. First, I want to just commend our superintendent on that intense and in-depth presentation that I observed tonight. And I feel very motivated to know that there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I do have a question, though. Regarding Dr. Valenti, when he talked about the reading situation, when was that discovered?
Dr. Valente, Ms. Lavelle is asking for clarification as to when you spoke about the reading deficiencies. She wants to know, when did you make that discovery?
Well, the most recent discovery was this week, but I made many discoveries before that I've reported publicly on. If you go to your 2018-19 state data, which I mentioned earlier is the most valid and reliable, and you look at your literacy performance, it's divided into 4 levels. Level 1 is failing. Level 2 is developing, but not quite passing. Level 3 is proficient, passing. Level 4 is mastery. Westbury scored about 1/3 of its pupils between level 3 and 4. That means 2/3 of the pupils were at levels 1 and 2. So that is not new news. That news, I believe, has been reported by prior administrations, or should have been, and there is a trend there that Westbury tends to be in that situation with respect to students' command of literacy. If you look at your math scores in 2018-19, there is a pretty good correlation between your literacy and your math, because unless you can read a math problem, you're not going to be able to solve it adequately. And again, at levels 3 and 4, you're running about 1/4 to 1/3 of your students proficient and passing, and about 2/3 are not. So we have a dual problem, a literacy and a math problem that extends minimally to 18-19. But if you go back to 15-16 and 14-15, at least in state data, you're going to see some similar trends. And that's what we need to reverse.
I thank you very much. And there is a reason why I asked that, because I'm not in the teaching profession, but I do have kids that went here, and I know that there has been some talk regarding our kids not being able to read. So I am very happy to know that that will be addressed. And I thank the board and Dr. Chase for bringing that to the forefront. Dr. Chase, when you first, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I did see in your reference something to do with a bachelor program in spelling bee. What are the chances of something like that coming to Westbury?
So it's okay. Bella, you Googled me and looked me up. I know, it's okay.
District? I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but
Are you talking about the IB program?
yes, yes.
So you're absolutely right. And, you know, in terms of the Scripps National Spelling Bee, in my superintendent's report this evening, I did announce that we were accepted the Scripps National Spelling Bee School District, which means, Ms. Lavelle, that this year, one of our students will be able to participate in this international spelling competition, and that will be in May of 2022. As it relates to the International Baccalaureate program, we are in an exploratory phase. We've had some preliminary conversation with the board, and it seems to be a direction that we'd like to go, where our students will be able to graduate with international distinction on their diploma. It takes about 4 years to truly implement it. It's about 2 years of exploration and getting the authorization from the IB organization. And then it takes about 2 years to graduate your first class. So it's a 4-year outlook. And just please know that the gentleman we just hired, Mr. Brendan Gallivan, will be tasked to explore what an IB program would look like in our school district. We are fully confident, we, the board, my administration, fully confident that our students can compete on this global level and our kids will be successful.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, now I just want to talk a little bit about the Pancake Breakfast. I'm not going to be long, but I just want to thank everybody who supported us through this venture. Westbury has been through quite a bit from COVID, and we suffered, but we are a community that do bounce back, and we did. So I am truly grateful for that tonight. I want to actually express and extend my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to a couple of people tonight. First, I want to thank the Westbury High School staff, principal, administrators, especially Mr. Reginald Warren, for all he did to make this happen. Also, the athletic director, Mr. Doric Capsis. He came through big time, and I thank him for that also. Also, our superintendent, Dr. Chase, because when she came and she heard our plight, she didn't just put her foot, she digged her foot in, as we call it, and she set sail. So we thank you for that. I'm not going here because the Board of Education is very, very special. Without you, the board, we won't be able to do anything. So we thank you for all the help that you have given to this community, your time, your endless nights. You come here without pay. We thank you for that and for letting that happen for this last Pancake Breakfast. Counterpart, Mr. Chester McGibbon, and I, who worked feverishly to put this together, we thank everyone and thank the board again for what you have done for us. Next, the WA, Miss Shahana Karula and her team. Also, Miss Duarte. They are I don't know what to call them, but they worked so hard for the PTA. This, Miss Duarte at least 3 times to money. I don't know about Miss Duarte. Thank you. Thank you. And Miss Karula, she's a true trooper. She strikes guy. And I remember that she was hired. So Miss Karula, for that, I thank you. Also, the Administrators Union, they came through big time also. We thank them for that. I don't want to leave anyone out, and if I do, I apologize. Okay. There's one particular person. His name is Pastor Ronald Crosley. He hails out of Valley. When he heard our plight, he actually did something, went to the extreme for us here. And I think we need to give him a special round of applause. His name is Pastor Ronald Crosley. I don't remember the name of his church. It's in Valley Stream. So we want to thank him and his family for that. Now, Mr. Earl Noble, who is an alumni of Westbury and a member of the Westbury Cricket Club, they came through big time also for us. Now, here is the, and not because it's last, I don't know how many of you witnessed what was going on in the cafeteria that morning. I don't know how many of you saw that, but we had a very special person in there serving, and her name is Superintendent Tahira Dupree Chase. I don't know how many of you saw her. Did anybody capture her on the camera? And she was in there with her own Senator Kaplan serving pancakes. And for that, we thank you. Okay, moving right along, 2 more. Special thank you to 2 custodians. Mr. Tommy Denuzio from the middle school. Let me tell you something. That Friday night when we were up here and we realized we didn't have the pans to pan the bacon and sausage, that's what Ela did. Thank God. This one sitting over here, who used to be my kid's earth science teacher in the middle school, I'm going to tell you tonight. I called her. I said, Felicia, because I could call her Felicia because she was like my child then and still is. Miss Crawford? Yes, ma'am. I called her and I told her my dilemma. I don't know what she did, but I could tell you one thing. I got a call. And you know something? Mr. Denuzio got out of his bed, went down to that Westbury Middle School, and brought those pants to us so that the 2 ladies were able to do what they were doing. Isn't that dedication? I think so. The next person is Mr. Carlton Harris. Carlton was not scheduled to work here that Friday. Carlton came here that night, donated his time, and set up that cafeteria because he has been doing it for years. Tell me that's not dedication. It sure is. Okay, serious business now. Some time ago, we spoke about, what you call those things, for the RFPs, for the legal team. I'd like to know tonight, where are we with that?
Are you referring to the RFPs, Ms. Lavelle? The RFPs for the legal team?
Oh,
Well, I think what happened, something was, there were applications came in, or there was an advertisement.
Right, so in approximately December of 2019, the board issued an RFP for legal services for both general counsel and for legal counsel.
So you're working, okay. Maybe I need to do, I personally would like to see what our legal fees are for the last 3 years, an itemized version of that. And I'm asking tonight, how can I get that? Because I think we have a, what is it called, a labor one and a general counsel? So there are 2 different law firms that we hire here? Am I correct? Okay, all right. Now, last.
I just want to answer your question. So
Go ahead.
We'll have that information assembled and delivered to you probably by email.
All right.
She's telling me that it has to be foiled, and she's being, Ayanna Thomas is saying you have to actually foil that. It's not, I'm going to say it's not a response I really like. I know it's a legal response, but our typical practice is, just like we did when Chester asked a question about the total cost of hirings today, that we were going to we would provide that to him tomorrow. My concern about forcing somebody to foil it is that it's very difficult to specify exactly what you're looking for in a foil. And that often results in the person that's trying to get the information not being able to get it because they haven't asked the question the way they want to. So I'm just going to ask that we work with Ms. Lavelle to make sure we understand the question that she's asking, the information that she wants, so we give her exactly what she needs to have. Is that okay, Ms. Lavelle?
Okay. Ms. Lavelle, just, call us in the morning. Call my office in the morning.
All right, now, 2 other things. Our teachers' aid. What are we doing for them? These are the individuals who work so hard with our children in the classroom, along with the teachers. And I think that with the pay that we're giving these people who are so, actually, they are a necessity. What are we doing for them? The second group of people that I want to address tonight is the cafeteria workers. I think they're underpaid and overworked. What are we doing for these people? These are the people that feed our children. What are we doing for the teachers' aid? What are we doing for the cafeteria workers? I don't think we're doing enough, and I think we need to do more as a board. So tonight, I'm looking at all you board members here. Please do look into this, because we need to do something. These are important part of our school district that keep it running. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lavelle.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to belabor. I know that most people are here for the appointments, but I do have another question, and if I didn't ask it, it would bother me. 565 Jefferson Street, Isabella Hamilton, Lomax. Dr. Valenti mentioned something earlier. Why doesn't Dryden Street have a music teacher? I would think they would need one, especially in light of this new fantastic program that they're going to have with bridging literate math and music.
That's an excellent question. The question.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of the question.
She wants to know, why doesn't Dryden Street have a music teacher? I don't have the answer to that.
Why does Dryden not have a music teacher?
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
that the question?
That's
Yeah,
the
and can we
question.
get them one?
And we
Well-
recognize, but we recognize that music is essential to early childhood education. And we absolutely recognize that. I do not have an answer as to why they don't, but I know that Dr. Valente is working with Ms. Dingwall to at least bring a music program until we could truly solidify the needs in that building. There are a couple of things with Dryden Street, is if I can be transparent,
Mhm.
that I don't understand.
Yeah.
And we're working to remedy that.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Valente, you want to add?
Yeah, Dr. Chase, Mary O'Neill and I were on a conference call just this morning with Ms. Dingwall going over next year's budget. And quite frankly, in talking about personnel and new programs, we surfaced art and music as an issue. So I believe Ms. Dingwall will be including in her budget a request for art and music at her school, at least one teacher in each of those content areas. And then, of course, we'll have to see how that fits into the larger equation of the budget, but it would be a very legitimate demand on her part or request.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You know, one of the, you can sit, I thought. When I was saying that the future is bright for Westbury, and I'm happy that we have Dr. Chase and we're able to round out her team. Part of why we were able to do that, maybe this is the thrust of Mr. McGivern's question about what the cost of all the new hires is. but part of the
Robert,
reason-
can you speak into your microphone, please? They can't hear you.
Thank you. You know, part of the reason that we're able to bring in these new hires and add to the team is that we had a large increase in foundation aid last budget year. And that makes just a tremendous difference. And I can't answer the question about why I didn't have a music teacher at Dryden in the past, but it could well be that it was just suffered as a result of budget cuts or budget constraints. And a lot of that is changing now that we have the increase in foundation aid. And I just want to mention that because it's true and it's important, but also because this community fought really hard to get the increase in foundation aid. And so we should understand that getting that money really impacts our ability to offer more services and have more staff to serve our children. Yeah, okay. So are there any other questions or comments either from the in-person audience, or I see that Mateo Flores is coming down. Are there any other questions, just so I know, in the chat room?
Mr. President, I have a comment to make to a question that was asked before Mr. Mateo goes to the microphone. I think the question was asked before regarding state testing for ELA in math. And I personally, in the board, it's critically important that we are moving the bar and we are increasing the outcomes in our students when it comes to ELA in math. And so I always keep track of the state testing, because at the end of the day, the state tests across all the districts, 700 plus across the state, and that data is very transparent. And I just want to give you some quick data when it comes to ELA proficiency. And Anderson Dr. Valenti has very good grasp of that, but he may not have it with him. So 2015, Westbury's proficiency was a 19%. 2018, 36%. Significant increase. That is why we are 1/3 of our students are proficiency, but we're more deficient back then. So we're making progress in that area. When it comes to math, in 2015, we were at 17%. In 2019, the last year that was tested in school, 32%, a third proficiency. So I just want to highlight that I know we are focused on academic outcomes and increasing them, and I'm very confident that we're going to keep increasing them as time goes on. But I want you to know that we have improved over the years because our district, our board, our leadership has focused on that, and I'm very confident that we'll continue on that track. But if you have any questions about the data, you can go to the state parent education data, and you can look at the district, and you can literally get into the weeds in terms of the males, females, ethnicity, in the district. I think is eye-opening when you look at the data. But overall, we are, it's increasing. So I'm very optimistic, and thank you for asking that question.
Flores.
Good evening, Mateo Flores, 201 Rushmore Street. I would like to first, on behalf of the parents, I want to say thank you for the support that you're giving to our students in terms to playing soccer in Westbury. I'm very humble also to know that our team has went so far and has inspired the younger ones to continue and strive to represent Westbury well. I want to commend the board for the wonderful work that you're doing in working with us, with the community, building up this foundation that you have talked about. I'm glad that Miss Isabella talked about a teacher at Dryden. I think it's such a need for our young ones to start early, and I support that. Hopefully, we can get a teacher at the school at the Dryden. Also, want to commend for the work that you're doing in terms of. I see that we have a lot of people that will be presenting tonight, and this is wonderful because people are moving up and we are preparing for our future. On the other hand, I just want to report real quick, and at the same time, I would like to invite the board, the community, the superintendent this Saturday. The Westbury Youth Soccer Club is going to have our last game at Powers Lane, 11 o'clock. I'm reporting that after the COVID, we started the soccer again. We had two traveling teams, a U9 and a U11. The U9 played 9 games. We have 1 left. We have won, we lost 1, we tied 2, and we won the rest. So that means that we have gone very far for the first time for young ones representing Westbury throughout Long Island. The U11, we lost 2, we tied 2, and we won the rest. But the most important trophy that we are taking is the sportsmanship and has represent Westbury throughout Long Island. I am very proud to see that our kids are really moving forward and they're enjoying. But most of all, I want to thank you for the support you give to any child who's playing sports, because we believe in healthy mind and healthy body. And together, we can do more. So you all invited to join us on Saturday, 11 o'clock at Powers Lane. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mateo. I think that's an appropriate time to end the public session. We'll now move to the voting agenda tonight. We've already recognized many of the people that are either being promoted or hired tonight. Before we actually take a vote, I'd just like to, we've already mentioned that Mr. Callender will be more than likely be receiving tenure in a couple of minutes. And his children have been so well behaved. Have they now gone to fall asleep? Oh, they're still over here, okay. So I just want to I'm just going to ask Ms. Crawford to say a few words about Mr. Callender and his service to us and why she made a recommendation, and ask the younger Calenders to please listen very carefully to some of the things that are going to be said about your dad in just a few minutes.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. President. I wrote it down so I won't ramble, so I'm going to read. Thank you for this opportunity to speak about DeLon Callender, DeLon. He came to us 4 years ago from Hempstead High School, and we are ecstatic that he chose to join the Westbury Union Free School District, more specifically, the Westbury Middle School. He is a self-proclaimed kid and an asset to our Westbury Middle School scholars. The pandemic brought out many of his computer skills. Homecoming brings out his creative skills, and his colleagues welcome his expertise. This month of November has a social, emotional theme of gratitude. We are grateful to you, Mr. Callender. We are grateful to you, Mrs. Callender, Ethan, and Avery, for sharing your husband and your father with us. Those members who are here in the audience and at home, if you would like to, please stand with me from the Westbury Middle School Anyone from the Westbury Middle School, please stand. The Westbury Middle School faculty and staff would like to present to you, Mr. Triano, and the Board of Trustees, DeLon Calendar. Wave your hand so they know who you are. He has done everything he has been asked to do, and we have seen tremendous growth in DeLon from year one. We wholeheartedly present him for his tenure appointment tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to speak about DeLon Calendar. And I have to say, we have an attitude of gratitude for having Mr. Calendar on our staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to vote in bulk for the rest of all of the items we're voting on tonight. You should be thanking me for that, because if not for that, it would take hours to get through it. So we're going to do them all at one time. So let me just say, I want to welcome Mr. Popkin again, and Ms. O'Neill, and all of our new hires as teachers. I also want to congratulate Mr. Talasic. I have such a hard time with that. I'm so sorry. Okay, thank you. And I'm still working on saying Dr. Oriena. Am I doing better? Yes. Okay, very good. and I may not get her first name right, but I just want to thank and congratulate Dr. Watt for her new role. So, and you know, we're really counting on all of you, and we have great confidence in all of you. So congratulations to you all. Having said that, can I now have a motion for resolution items 5A through 5F? Thank you.
One
Thank you,
second, Board
Vice
President.
President.
I believe one item should be tabled on the agenda.
Which item would that be?
6B.
Did you say 6B?
V.
V.
Your V is in Victor.
I thought that had been removed. Okay. Thank you. Can I have a motion to block vote the following items? 5A through 5F, 6A through 6W, with the exception of 6I and 6V. I want to add to that 7A through 7R, 8A and 8B. To sum that up, it means that every item on tonight's voting agenda, I'm asking for a motion to block vote all of those items with the exception of 6I and 6V. Do I have a motion to block vote? Do I have a motion to block vote those items?
So moved.
Been moved by Dr. Dickerson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Bowling. The motion to block vote those items has been moved and seconded. Ayes. Trustee Quintanilla.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Dickerson.
Aye.
Trustee Bowling.
Aye.
And Vice President Ewing.
Aye.
Thank you. Can I now have a motion to approve item 6I?
Robert, you didn't vote.
Oh, thank you. I forgot me. So I vote aye to block vote those items. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Now, may I have a motion to approve the items that were approved for a block vote?
Excuse me, Mr. President?
Yes.
Before you go forward, just be a little clearer with those letters. He said 6I, and the second one was?
6V as in Victor.
Oh, thank you. And also, please exclude 6O. It was already voted on at the last meeting.
District Clerk is asking if 6O was already voted on.
It was, so I need for you to exclude that one as well.
So what does that mean? Do I have to change the resolution? Okay. So the comment is that on 6O does not require a vote, but it's already been mentioned, and our attorney. All right, so fine, but we can go on the way we have already. Okay, so so we have a motion now to approve the items that were approved for a block vote.
That is correct.
So moved.
Been moved by Vice President Ewing. Do we have a second?
Second.
Who seconded it? Trustee Wilson, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Ayes. Trustee Quintanilla?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Dickerson?
Aye.
Trustee Bowling?
Aye.
Vice President Ewing?
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. You have now all been either hired, promoted, tenured. Thank you. Welcome all and congratulations. All right. Can I have a motion on? Oh, really? No, I don't know.
We know that tonight's meeting was a little bit longer than usual, but we hope that you found it informative. Those family members who were here with newly appointed Westbury family members, please indulge in coffee. It's for you, so that's a way of celebrating our new family members, and so we hope that you will partake.
Okay, may I have a motion now on to approve Resolution 6I?
So moved.
Moved by Vice President Ewing. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Quintanilla. Ayes. Trustee Quintanilla?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
President Troiano, I will recuse myself from voting. Abstain, yes, due to familial ties with a member that's being voted within this resolution.
Mm-hmm. So 6I has to do with the hiring of coaches for the winter sports season. Trustee Wilson is not voting on that resolution because her brother is one of the candidates for being hired. So just in interest of transparency, and although Trustee Wilson had nothing to do with his selection, she has decided that she will not vote either aye or nay on that particular resolution. Dr. Dickerson?
Aye.
Trustee Bowling?
Aye.
Vice President Ewing?
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. Motion carries unanimously 6-0. Can I have a motion to table 6W? I'm sorry, 6B, as in Victor.
So moved.
Been moved by Trustee Quintanilla. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Ewing. Ayes. Trustee Quintanilla?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Dickerson? Trustee Bowling?
Aye.
Vice President Ewing?
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. That concludes tonight's voting agenda. Before asking for a motion to go in executive session, I just want to wish all of you, in the spirit of gratitude, to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you get the time to spend with family and friends. I know it's difficult during the pandemic, but we hope that all of you get to at least get some rest over the long weekend. Thank you all, everybody. Can I have a motion to go in executive session to discuss items of personnel? I expect that we will be in executive session no later than 11 o'clock this evening. When we come out of executive session, there will be no votes other than to vote to adjourn for the evening. Do I have a motion to go to executive session?
So moved.
Been moved by Trustee Bowling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Quintanilla. Ayes. Trustee Quintanilla?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Dickerson? Aye. Trustee Bowling? Vice President Ewing?
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. Motion carries unanimously, 6-0. We are now in executive session. Thank you, everybody. Good night. If I can just make one more comment as people leave. Ms. Lavelle gave a lot of thanks to people for the Pancake Breakfast and the homecoming. She mentioned Shahana Karula, the president of the WTA. But I want to thank the WTA members, the WASP members, and all other staff that came out and marched in the parade. The showing by the WTA members in particular was very impressive, and it just gives a very warm feeling to see so many committed people come out and support our community. Thank you also, and good night.
Robert, can I just add a thanks for Ms. Lavelle and Chester McGivern for the work that they do for the Pancake Breakfast. I think Ms. Lavelle deserves a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lavelle and Chester McGivern.
I don't think I'm supposed to be using.
Take our time. Okay. Dr. D, are we ready? We're good. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. As we promised, there'd be no votes coming out of executive session other than to vote to adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Bowling. Oh, thank you,
Second.
Vice President Ewing. Thank you, but I called for the wrong motion. Can we have a motion to come out of executive session? Robin?
So moved.
So moved. So we have a second, Pedro?
Second.
Second is moved and seconded. Ayes. Trustee Quintanilla?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Dickerson?
Aye.
Trustee Bowling?
Aye.
Vice President Ewing?
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. Now, may we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Bowling. You have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Quintanilla. Ayes. Trustee Quintanilla?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
Trustee Dickerson?
Aye.
Trustee Bowling?
Aye.
Vice President Ewing?
Aye.
And I, Robert Troiano, vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Good night.